podcast. I am your host, Calvin, aka Practical as Buck. And today I have a very special guest with me, the owner and proprietor and competitive shooter, all around great dude, Chad from Priority One Holsters. So thank you, Chad, for being on, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, so Chad, all transparency, Chad reached out to me and wanted to be on the podcast. And after talking with Chad a little bit, he's a great guy. He's very big into the shooting sports, so I wanted to get him on the podcast. Get him out there, get his company out there. And so, why don't you just kind of talk about who you are, like your competitive shooting, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. I did reach out to you. Podcast. I listened to them all day at the shop, so I really wanted to try it out. And thanks for saying yeah.
And mine's the best. It's better than the Shoot Fast podcast, the Make Ready podcast, and the Paracast, because those dudes talk smack to me on their last episode. So
it's awesome. It's awesome.
So
yeah, I'm from North Carolina, northeast corner, small town called Moyock, right by Virginia Beach, and in between Virginia Beach and the Outer Banks.
Okay, so why don't you kind of talk about how you got into competitive shooting?
Okay, so actually, man, I was probably 19, bought my first gun off a buddy of mine, and never shot it. Fast forward 2 years, a buddy of mine took me to an indoor range, taught me how to shoot handguns. Went and picked one out, bought a Smith & Wesson M&P, like I said, 2011 or 2012. And about a week and a half or 2 weeks later, he said, hey, we're going to go shoot. I got this match. It's called the Second Saturday Series. And I was freaking out because I had just learned how to shoot like an FBI Q target at 5 yards and hit it. Went and shot the first match. It was an outlaw match. There was like literally no rules. Basically, don't muzzle anybody and you're good to go. It was the best one for me to start. And after that, I don't think I missed one for the rest of the year. And been shooting ever since.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think I started with a outlaw match, and it's kind of cool because I feel like there's not as much pressure. Like a lot of guys that shoot, non-outlaw matches, they're not, super competitive dudes. They're just there to have fun. So it's a good place to start. I don't even think the range I shot at, they don't even do their running guns anymore. That's what they used to call them. But yeah, that's great, man. So
yeah.
Why don't you kind of talk about, what do you shoot? You shoot USPSA, IDPA?
Now I shoot USPSA, shoot a little bit of 3-gun. I just got started into both of those, organizations of shooting. I always shot just outlaws or local matches like 2-gun, stuff like that. So actually shot my first USPSA match this year, I think April.
Okay.
Shot 1 or 2 3-gun now, but a bunch of the outlaw 2-gun.
So do you like the 2-gun and the 3-gun? Do you enjoy that stuff?
I do, man. I do. I dig it. I like just going as fast as you can. 2 hits anywhere counts. I love it. It's compared to the USPSA scoring, but USPSA is fun too. I actually have only shot USPSA I haven't shot 3-gun in the past 2 months. I've only shot USPSA because my pistol game was getting so bad that I had to really crack down on it.
Yeah, so I guess I've never really shot a legit 3-gun match. I shot this outlaw kind of ghetto 2-gun match, almost like a 3-gun match. So and down here in South Texas, or at least in San Antonio area, we don't really have a lot of 3-gun presence. If you go east and you go to Houston, 3-gun is super huge. They have matches all the time. So I guess I've never I think I would like it. To me, it seems like a lot of practice shotgun, rifle, pistol, all that stuff.
100%. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, man. I have to drive 3.5, 4 hours to shoot a 3-gun match, where I can shoot 4 or 5 USPSA matches within 2 hours of me. So
that's good.
It's quite an ordeal to go shoot 3-gun, but I could go shoot a USPSA match at least once a week.
That's good. Yeah, we don't have that luxury down here. We have 2 clubs that put on matches. They put on third and fourth Sunday. So hopefully we'll get some more. So what do you shoot? Well, what divisions do you shoot in USPSA?
Gotcha. USPSA, I shoot limited minor. Just started picking up the PCC. I know that
Oh no.
all
Oh
you guys
no.
are happy about those, huh?
Oh no. Oh, we might just have to stop this interview. Hold on. Hold on. Let me check with my producer.
I know. Just don't tell my wife or my parents. I don't want to deal with the
You don't,
disappointment.
you don't want to you don't want to be outed.
Yeah. But yeah, limited minor. I picked up a production gun first. I bought a Shadow 2 in April. I shot one match and I was like, I am so tired of reloading. So picked up
Yeah.
a TI DVC 3 gun, and I wish I would have went major caliber already, but it's still fun.
Yeah, I mean, if you could shoot well enough, I'm not, don't make me a meme, but you, I think there are some people that can shoot minor competitively. Something you could always, sell that 9 millimeter gun and get the 40. But I think limited is a great place to start
Oh, it's a
because
blast.
I mean you don't have to worry about reloading as much. I think me and my dad both started in production and we got out of it because of the reloads. But yeah, that's cool, man. So are you classified in
Yeah,
unlimited
I'm a B class.
B class? That's not bad. That's not bad. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So, what kind of like? Let's talk. I guess we can talk about your gear. What kind of belt are you running? Because you kind of shoot like both, 3 gun and USPSA. So do you keep your belt the same or do you change it?
Well, the only thing that changes is when I'm running shotgun caddies, they go up front, and so I'll
Yeah.
have to do my first pistol mag. But yeah, so I run a Safariland belt with their I think ELF are the pistol attachments. They're QD. So I have 3 pistol up front, AR in the back. I'm right-handed, so pistol will be at 3 o'clock, and then I run 2 shotgun caddies up front if I'm running 3 gun.
Awesome. Do you like that belt? I thought about buying one. Safariland's one of the Rudy Project team sponsors, and
Oh,
I thought about buying it because I heard it's really rigid. So I'm in
yeah,
the
definitely.
I'm in the market for a belt. So that's a contender along with the double alpha. The double alpha looks pretty sweet too. So right now I'm using a Midway USA belt that I've had for about 3 years. It's not a terrible belt, but it's it's getting a little loose on me. All right, man. So
For an upgrade, huh?
let's talk about your company. So you are the owner, I guess proprietor, CEO, everything of Priority One Holster. So why don't you going to talk about that? Because there's, a million and one. You just search holster, Kydex Holster Company on Instagram, and there's a bunch of mom and pop shops. So why don't you kind of talk about your journey, and you can talk about your products, like what kind of sets you apart from other people.
Sure. So actually, my wife's the owner. She just lets me come to work every day. So
Nice.
yeah, we started in I think 2011 or 2012. I went to take a course, and I had an M&P with I think I had an external thumb safety. I couldn't find a holster for it, so I went on YouTube and found some just atrocious videos on how to make a holster. Ordered some Kydex on Amazon. Come to find out, it was like recycled. Anyway, it was terrible. So I hammered out a holster, and it was garbage, but it got me through my course. And I worked at EMS at the time, so I had 4 days a week off, or I'd work 3 on, 1 off, 3 on, 7 off. And so come to find out, in my off days, a bunch of people needed holsters, and they started to call me for them. So fast forward to 2015, we launched as a full-time business, her and I. And then 2017 or 2016, got into a commercial space and went to CNC trimming and routing of our holsters. Late 2018, we started doing all the CAD design in-house. And 2019, we have 2 CNCs running, ship a couple hundred holsters a week. There's 4 of us in total. It's my wife and myself full-time. My brother-in-law, Joe, works for us a couple days a week. And then one of our sponsored shooters, Chris, actually does programming for us for the CNC side.
Wow, that's great, man. I didn't. That's pretty cool. It's like a family, like a actual like family
Yeah,
mom, like an actual mom and pop shop. That's cool.
that's
So
it.
your wife is just totally cool with doing the holsters. She was on board with it.
She's as obsessed with polymer-based acrylic alloys as I am.
Wow.
I'm kidding. No, no, she's super supportive, man. Yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better business partner and wife.
That's great, man. That's
Definitely
cool.
outkicked my coverage.
Yeah, I did too. Um, so with your products, man, so why don't you kind of talk about the products that you offer? So we
Sure.
talked about how you started, why you started. So why don't you kind of talk about like the products that you offer? Because, you know, the holster in competitive shooting is like probably one of the most important pieces of gear because how else are you going to get your gun to the range, things like that. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it all starts at the holster. Yeah, so we initially were producing light bearing inside the waistband holsters. That's how we really grew, because you throw a Streamlight TLR7 or a Surefire X300 or XC1 on a gun, and you can't just walk inside of a gun shop and pick up a holster for it. So we were doing a lot of plainclothes cop carry rigs, or civilian concealed carry rigs, and I was always a competitive shooter, so it would just seem natural to want to do a competition series. And so now we offer inside and outside the waistband. They're all single piece fold over holsters. So the competition outside the waistband holster will fit about every industry standard mount on the market. It's all adjustable retention. We use a 0.93 inch thick Boltaron for the material, and everything's computer designed, CNC drilled and cut. So that way holster 1 and holster 5000 are going to be to the exact same spec. Then hand finished, assembled, and test fit. So we have a lineup that consists mostly of striker fired firearms, and we just started diving into the competition side. So we got the Glock M&P, P320, 2011 Shadow 2, CZ polymer guns too.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so y'all just have a few of the polymer guns. What about like so when you were designing your competition holster, what are some things that you kind of brought into the design? Like what were some things that you took into consideration?
So, well, actually consulted with some pros, man. When we had a duty style holster that would pretty much fit into most competitions out there. But I just called a couple pro shooters and said, "What do you look for in a holster?" And some guys were like, "Well, I want a lower sweat shield. If you're doing 100 draws a day, you don't want any hand contact on the material.
Yeah.
Offset from the body, thumb screws to adjust the retention on the fly. So if you're walking stages and pacing, you can crank the retention down. When you get up to the line, you can loosen it up in a hurry." We try to make it as slick as possible with a detent-like retention, so that you have zero drag. It's not smushing the gun and dragging all the way in and out, but once you hit that retention point, it's just a nice solid click, and it's easy to defeat when you're trying to get out. We also do a further cut, so everything's cut for optics, which helps get the gun out of the holster faster too.
Yeah. I'm looking at your website right now. So what kind of options, like what kind of mounting options do you offer for your holsters?
So everything's shipped standard with a paddle, because everybody uses their own mount. It seems everybody has their own favorite, but
Mhm.
you can upgrade to a tech lock or a combat loop, which is a tech lock that just has a push button slide lock. It's a little bit easier to use if you're taking your gun on and off the belt. I use a Blade Tech drop offset mount, so we offer that one as well, but it'll fit pretty much every hanger you could pick up at a competition store that we've tested. Is good to go. So use Safariland Blade Tech. I can't think of the other one. There's
Springer,
another.
Springer.
Oh
Have you
yeah, I think it'll fit the
Springer?
Springer, but it's like a more duty style mount setup that uses the same hole pattern.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Yeah, I think the mount I think is the most important part of the holster because um, I've had a couple holsters that the mount wasn't like the holster was strong itself, but the mount wasn't. And when I would draw, if I pulled too far out, if I tried to pull too fast, the holster would bend, it would move. Um, that's cool, man. It seems like y'all put a lot of time into the design and creating these holsters because it could be, you could just be some dude in a garage with Kydex, and a toaster oven slapping together holsters. And
Sure.
from this conversation we just had, it seems like you guys put out a really good product.
And there's guys that do it the other way that do a phenomenal job, but there's guys, that definitely don't. So it's the most consistent we can make it, the better the product is for our customers.
And so, like your material, so maybe talk a little bit about that material, like that Kydex that you use.
Sure. So we actually use Boltaron anytime we can. If there's a certain color or something we have to order Kydex in, we'll do it. But Boltaron, it's just a superior material. It's got a
So,
higher
what is
higher.
what is Boltaron?
It's just another thermoplastic, similar to Kydex. It's got a higher acrylic content to it.
Oh, okay, so it's a little
So
bit more rigid, a little stronger.
yeah. With the testing, the amounts aren't staggering, but it's just a slightly better material, and so we use it whenever we can.
Okay, and so when you were designing these holsters, what kind of like R&D and testing did you put them through? Because I know for a few companies when I was doing my YouTube days, I did some holster testing, and I would like wear like if it was like a IWB holster, like a concealed carry, I try to wear it every day. I try to go shoot with it. If it's a competition holster, I would bang the crap out of it in dry fire and practice. So, what's some of like the R&D? Because I think that's really important when you're designing like duty stuff or competition stuff or really any kind of gear. Is like what does the company do to test to make sure that what they're making is good product?
Yeah, for sure. We run everything hard before it goes out. We send multiples out for testing because one draw stroke could be different from another, so you never know if they're going to have hang-ups that you may not experience, or the size of their hands, or the shape of the body. So everything's tested with multiple users. We do durability testing, but we don't just finish something and release it the next day. We use it, we throw it in range bags, we toss it in the truck, we drop it, we make sure it's good to go.
Awesome. Do y'all
Don't
have
think wild like send it to the moon yet, but
right?
you
Yeah,
never
maybe
know.
someone Elon Musk, maybe he could put it on a SpaceX thing and send it to the moon, see how it does in zero gravity.
If he's
That could,
listening, I'm interested.
yeah, maybe Elon Musk. I don't know if Elon Musk listens to my podcast, but it
We
doesn't
don't.
matter. Um, that's cool. I think the whole holster making thing to me is really interesting. I've always kind of thought about because the way my job works, I get some time off. I always kind of thought about dabbling in making holsters, and then I think about how handy I am and
Oh, right on.
how terrible am I? I don't know how good it would be. That's great, man. So, um, I know I interviewed one of your sponsored shooters, Mike Stoker. It's a great dude. So, who are some people? Because I know who are some like shooters that you sponsor, teams that you sponsor, things like that. Once you kind of plug those
Yeah,
people.
definitely. So I think we have 5 or 6 right now. Let me check. So we sponsor a shooting team locally, Chesapeake Pawn and Guns, and Glenda Guns. So Glenda's a shooter for there. She shoots a bunch of local matches. Chris, he's on Instagram at John Thick. He does programming for us. Started as just sponsored shooter. He helps us out a bunch in a ton of other ways around the shop. We have Drew Campa, DK 3 Gun on Instagram. He's a fast dude. Kevin Lally, another shooter of ours. Was just talking with Matt Beam last night. I think that's I'm going to send him out some gear. Let's see if I forgot anybody. I think that's it.
Okay. So you have a pretty good squad of shooters.
Yeah,
It sounds
5 or 6. They're all awesome people. That's what we look for. It's who do we want to grab a beer with after the match? When you're tired, you don't want to do anything else, but like just people you want to be around. So that's who we try to pick up.
And I know Mike said he kind of talked about in his episode. So these people that y'all sponsor, like how did y'all come about sponsoring them?
So Mike actually doesn't have a deal per se.
He
I
just
sent
promotes you
Mike
guys.
here because Drew was like, "Hey man, I got my buddy Mike out in Vegas, can't find a holster," and I was like, "Let me send him one," And so I talked with Mike a little bit. He's an awesome dude, but I know he's got a ton of sponsorships and affiliations that he's currently working with, and so he plugs our gear just because he's a good dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, Mike is a really good dude. If you don't know, we're talking about Mike Stoker. He's Bullets and Beers on Instagram. Really cool dude, man. Had him on the podcast. Let's go listen to his episode. That's awesome. Yeah, Mike's a real stand-up dude. That's cool. So,
Mike.
like, if someone is interested, maybe in your products or has used your products, and they would maybe want to, join your team or be sponsored, what would you suggest that they do? Because I know if people listen to this and say, "Hey, I buy Priority One stuff all the time. I shoot IDP, I shoot USPSA, I shoot three gun." Like, what would you recommend they do since we have you on?
Yeah, tag me in your videos on my personal account at Chad Boltaron. And I just want to connect with other shooters, and that'd be cool. I'd definitely be interested. I want to see some video. I want to talk to you, get a feel for you, and yeah, see if it's beneficial for both of us.
Do y'all have any like plans to, I guess, sponsor matches? Or cause you said you're in the Carolinas, right?
Yeah, we
So
we do locally. We
okay,
I send out gear if pretty much if we get a request and it's a match benefiting somebody, I'm all on.
right.
Like we just sent out gear for a match in Fayetteville benefiting a Gold Star family. We used to sponsor local events here that used to do a prize table, but they haven't done a prize table match in a while. I try to give back to shooters anytime I can because I support the companies that give back to shooters. It's how this works. You
Yeah, I
know,
like that. I like that a lot. I like that.
we do a bunch of giveaways and stuff, and if I have one that comes in on a return, I'll try to just throw it to a guy who shoots matches or a girl who shoots matches.
Yeah, because otherwise it's gonna sit in the shop.
Yeah, that's it, man. I'd rather see somebody be able to burn it down with it.
Awesome. That's cool. Yeah, maybe y'all could sponsor I always think it's cool to see like these small companies, like a good example, like Red Hill. They started out small like you, and now they've blown up into this huge company. So maybe hopefully one day y'all be doing the same thing. Y'all can put on a section match or help, get y'all's
Oh,
name
that'd
out
be awesome.
there.
Yeah,
You have a really good following on Instagram. You have like what, 15, almost 15,000 followers.
yeah,
So
14, 14
that's
something.
that's good, man. So before we kind of end this thing and jump off, why don't we kind of talk about? We've talked about the holsters a lot. Let's kind of talk about you, and I guess this could be about your company goals. So, what are some goals that you have for the 2019 season? Like, I know you just started shooting USPSA in April, and it sounds like you're a pretty decent shooter because you're only shooting since April. You're already B class. That's pretty good, especially shooting limited minor. So, what are some goals that you have? Like, are you planning on shooting any big matches, anything like that?
Yeah, so my big goal for the year, uh, whether I get there or not, I'm trying every day. I want to make master, limited in PCC, and then let's see, I got Noveski shoot coming up in September. That'll be a big match for me, the biggest match I've shot yet.
That's a three gun match, right?
Rifle only.
Oh, rifle only.
And then there's one down in Florida in December at the Universal Shooting Academy. I think it's like a section multi-gun. I've never shot it, so I want to go check that out.
That's
But
cool.
then they have the Carolina and the Virginia section or regional. I'm not familiar with the terminology, but whatever the state match for USPSA is, and I'd like to check those out. But those are my wife's birthday weekend, so we'll see if I can
Yeah, that might be tough to
talk her
pull.
into it. I might only have to shoot one, but
Yeah, that's
instead of
cool. Yeah, there's a lot of heat out there in USPSA and Carolinas and Virginia, man. Like a lot of dudes out there are just like a lot of local matches they put on. There's just really good shooters out there.
those boys in Fayetteville, man, they are no joke.
Yeah, they don't mess around.
No, no. If you travel a little further south than me, they tear it up.
Yeah, yeah. We have some heat. We don't have. I think we have some decent heat down here in San Antonio. I think a lot of the heat is up there in Dallas, like with Devin, or even down up in Houston. Houston. So if you're not familiar, San Antonio metropolitan area is not really big. You go to Houston. Houston's like one of the probably like the largest city in Texas, and I went there on a weekend to go work with my wife had a trip or something, so we went down there and they have USPSA like every single weekend. They have like matches every like they have weeknight matches in San Antonio. That's like unheard of. We have two USPSA matches in the area. There's one that's in
Yeah.
Austin, which is like 2 hours away. So I was like, man, this would be sweet to live here and shoot all these matches.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I wish there was some more weekday stuff here.
Yeah, I can't really pull the weekday stuff with my work schedule, but man, that'd be sweet to be able to once a month is go shoot on a weeknight or Thursday night, just go shoot like a two-stage match, be done like in an hour. It'd be cool. Be
Yeah, for
really
sure.
awesome. Awesome, man. Well, is there anything else you want to add or plug before, or why don't you kind of plug where can people find you on social media? I know we kind of already
Yeah.
talked about it. So why don't
So
you
me,
plug?
I'm at Chad Boltaron, ChadBoltaron. Company's name is Priority One Holsters. That's the number one. We're just at Priority One Holsters on Instagram, Priority One Holsters on Facebook, YouTube. Our website is PriorityOneHolsters.com. And that's it, man.
Awesome. Yeah, I will link all his Instagram links in the show notes so that way y'all can check it out. And I'll tag when I post this. I'll probably post this tonight. It'll show up tomorrow morning. When I post about it on Instagram, I will tag him as well. That way you guys can follow him. He posts really great stuff. I love the Instagrams. It's really it's a great way to market people. So that's all we
A
got for
lot
you
of fun,
guys.
man.
Make sure, so guys, go onto Facebook. Make sure you like our Facebook page. Just search Shoot, Reload, Repeat Podcast. All my stuff on Instagram posts on there. So you can follow me on Instagram at Practical as Buck. Make sure that you subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star review. Remember, we are the best shooting podcast out there. We're better than we upload more often than the Make Ready podcast. We're more entertaining than the Shoot Fast podcast, and the Paracast can suck it. That's just my honest opinion. But thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate it, guys. Like this is like a venture that we kind of just jumped into, and I appreciate you guys listening, following us on Instagram. Make sure you go check out Chad. He's a great dude, and shoot fast and don't suck.